Alright then, in 5, 4... One sec. Is this plugged in? One second, let me just test this right now. Hi. Huh, interesting. It's running on this mic. Hadn't realized that. Well then, let's try this then, shall we? Then, going in 5, 4, 3, 2... Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Penguin, and I would like to welcome you back to the Grand Finals of the North American Zeke Daily for the 20th of January 2012. This is going to be Game 2 of the Grand Finals of this TBT epic between the Teal Terran spawning in the top left spawn location, Wilp, and in the top right spawn location, the Green Terran nfteamSync. The map will be Shakura's Plateau, and this is going to be the latter version of Shakura's Plateau, so no rocks there. Yeah, it's the standard one that everyone knows and loves, I guess. I'm very interested to see what happens in this game. Of course, in the last game, it ended up being this sort of base trade situation where Wilp got reasonably far ahead as far as economy goes, and then just sort of decided not to tech and not to scout, and just really nfteamSync saw that Wilp was going mass Marines and just realized, hey, tanks do pretty well against Marines, so he got up tanks. Wilp had no idea and then got crushed. So we'll see if Wilp decides to actually scout this game, scout a little better this game. He didn't play badly in the last game, but that was something that was definitely lacking, and if he wants to win this best of 3 series, he is gonna have to come back and win the next 2 games. So, can he do it? Well, if anyone can do it, Wilp can. Both the players are gonna be putting up their barracks at the front, looking like they're gonna be going for a wall-off, and there is a gas on the way for nfteamSync, getting his gas reasonably early compared to Wilp. Wilp hasn't yet started his gas, and as we saw in the last game, Sync did like to tech further than just mass Marines, which is what Wilp did. So Wilp likes his mineral builds, as we saw against TDG Wumble as well in the semifinals. He likes his Marines. nfteamSync, we haven't seen much of him in this tournament so far, but as he showed us in the last game, he does like teching. He does like getting the more advanced units. Looks like Wilp is going to get ready to put down his command center. The 1-Rax FE is, of course, what he did in the last game as well, and he will be throwing that down right now. nfteamSync is actually able to keep this SCV alive for a reasonably long time. He's just sort of running around, making sure that he knows exactly what's going on in Wilp's base. He knows there's no gas yet, so he knows that Wilp is going to be focusing more on Marines, and ooh, even slips past that Marine as well. A little bit of a misclick on Wilp's behalf, not A-moving, but he has locked the SCV in here, so we'll probably be able to get that sooner or later. Meanwhile, we are seeing a factory on its way up for nfteamSync, and he is planting that barracks down to get a reactor right next to it, so we can probably assume that he'll be switching those up and getting some Hellions out. And Hellions are incredibly strong against Terran, especially early game, and especially against players like Wilp who just like those Marines, because what a lot of players will do is, if they don't get a bunker up at the front, like while they'll get a bunker up at the front, obviously, but before that's done, like he's starting to send his Marines down here, and if he puts them in a little line here, a well-microed pair of Hellions can take out tons of Marines, and Hellions are not expensive. They're just 100 minerals, and definitely worthwhile if he can get a couple of Marines to take with them, and of course the SCVs are incredibly easy to kill with Hellions if he's able to get them past. The wall-off at the front may be a bit of a saving grace for Wilp. Of course, if he could raise that supply depot, the Hellions may have a little bit more trouble actually getting into the main, but this natural will be wide open for them until he gets a bunker up, so it's still looking pretty dangerous for him. nfteamSync now also going to be taking his expansion, and he's also throwing down a starport, so if he decides to go for a couple of medevacs to sort of reinforce his Hellions, well, obviously they can't heal the Hellions, but being able to elevator them up into the main here will completely bypass this wall, which he knows is there, and that will absolutely devastate Wilp, who's only now focusing on putting down a 3rd barracks instead of deciding to get any more sort of tech. And a couple of Marines are going to move out across the map, Hellions will intercept, and he's actually going to be able to keep that Marine alive as well, so good control by nfteamSync. Combat shields are on the way up for Wilp. Once again, looking like he's going to be going pretty Marine heavy. He does have a significant number of them on the map already, and with a reactor building on that one barracks, and another reactor going down on this barracks, that is to be expected. A couple of Hellions are going to try to push up through the front. They roast a few Marines, and that bunker's not done yet. And nfteamSync looks like he's going to be able to get into the natural here. He could do a lot of damage here. Those Marines are being forced to run away. He is going to be able to do a lot of damage. We'll lose one of those Hellions there. A bit sloppy there, but he is absolutely devastating this mineral line in about 1,000 different ways. 2 Marines on the field is not going to be anywhere near enough to deal with this, and he's basically cleaned up the entire mineral line now. All of those SCVs gone, and now these Hellions are just going to be able to continue roasting away to their heart's content. That bunker has finished, and he will actually get a Marine into that bunker, but tries to slip up here, but the supply depot wall is closed. Taking a look at that, 10 workers killed for nfteamSync, not bad at all. He will end up losing the rest of these Hellions, but not before they really got their money's worth there. A fantastic attack there. And we see up at the top of the map here, a Banshee is going to be coming into the main here, going to continue this harassment. Wants to get as much done as he can. There is a missile turret going up, but he's going to be able to focus down the SCV, building the missile turret that will delay the missile turret by a lot. And he's going to continue focusing down whichever SCV hops on that missile turret until the Marines are able to finally kill this off. 6 kills on this Banshee. He will... is he going to get another? He gets a 7th kill and gets on out of there without taking a single hit point of damage. More Hellions are on the field now. Going to be moving out across the map, ready to slip back into that natural once he's resaturated it, which is what he is starting to do right about now. Cloaking is on the way for the Banshees, as well as more Hellions. He is not stopping producing the production of these Hellions. He is up to 6 Hellions, I believe, now. Yes, 6 Hellions are on the map. A second Banshee is going to come in here. He's going to try to tickle the supply depot. And while losing a supply depot is not the biggest loss in the world, what he's doing is he's not letting these units sit around idly. He's getting the most out of these units, and he's just doing as much as he can with them, and that's exactly what you want to do. It's these little victories that may end up swinging the entire game. Now, that killing of that supply depot has supply blocked Wilp for a while. He will cloak those Banshees. There goes a nice scan. We'll be able to get one of the Banshees, but the other Banshee gets away, which will force another scan, and that is one less fuel to be mining. He will be able to keep that out of range of the missile turret's vision, and he is going to get a few more kills on that. We'll get up to 20 worker kills now. Absolutely dominating. Let's take a look at the supply tab here. The worker supply, while he's been doing a lot of this harassment, since he's been investing so much in the harassment and in the units, he's not as far ahead in the worker supply as one would think, but he does still have 6 workers, 6 worker lead, and that is a significant lead. He's going to get a couple more kills here. No, a little bit sloppy. Will get 2 more kills before dying. But yeah, of course, it takes the worker supply lead to 10 workers for nfteamSync that Wilp is not able to have, and he's continuing to just go heavy on the Marines, only now getting a factory. And Blue Flame is on the way as well for nfteamSync, and of course, Hellions are already very good against Marines without the Blue Flame upgrade, but once that Blue Flame gets finished as well, they will roast those Marines to their heart's content. He's getting a nice little spread out here, so that they're not all in one big bunch, and nfteamSync will see that spread, so he won't go for a frontal assault, but he is going to be taking a third base as well. What do you do when you're ahead? You get more ahead, and that is exactly the mantra that nfteamSync is playing with in this game. He's now started pumping out siege mode and 2 tanks at a time. That is, of course, an ideal transition if your opponent is still going mass Marines, because if you get a few tanks up in good positions here, this position is very good for tanks. And just specifically, if you get 4 or 5 tanks on the field against a mass Marine ball, unless those Marines are handled perfectly and split up so they're not getting absolutely obliterated by the tanks will do so much damage. And really, they should be able to obliterate any Bioforce unless it's perfectly microed. nfteamSync is going to be sending out a barracks here as a little mini scout. He will be able to see any barracks coming in here. It's like the Terran equivalent of an Overlord. He is going to be loading up 8 Hellions into Medivacs, though, so that could be incredibly dangerous if he's able to drop in the main. He is going to be moving this one towards the main. This one is going to be going out along the sides, probably aiming for the going to be aiming for the natural, but this one is going to be moving in right about now. How much damage will these Hellions do? The Marines are reasonably out of position. He will drop right next to the supply depot, so they are going to have time to react. But he's rolling straight towards the mineral line. He's forced to evacuate the mineral line. We'll get a couple of kills, but they're lining up, and if he can get a few good shots on this, that will do huge damage. He's going to start splitting them now. Good splitting. Reasonable amount of damage done. We'll be able to take out all of those Marines. And there are a lot of Marines defending these SCVs, but he is able to kill quite a few of them. Not bad at all. I'm not sure what's going on to these other... there's the other drop. That has raised his workers killed to 27, though, and he's now started mining out of his third, so he is getting so far ahead here. He's going to be moving into the natural with another drop, and those Marines are moving out. They are completely out of position, and that is not what he wants to be, and he's forced to turn around, and this will give a few valuable seconds for the SCVs to die to these Hellions. Nice splitting on the Hellions. We'll take out almost every SCV there, and that raises the kill count to almost 40. Now it is 40. And that was incredibly successful. 14 more kills for the cost of 4 Hellions. Not bad at all. And with 6 tanks on the field now, if he sieges these up and gets a good defense going, he's just going to be able to get further and further ahead. And of course, this is a best of 3, so if nfteamSync wins this game, he wins. We're seeing a pretty big move out coming up from Wilp, but he is going to have to be very careful to split those units up, to not have them up in one giant ball for the tanks to kill, because... well, it's 1 tank against 7 right now, and nfteamSync is pumping them out 2 at a time, so that is not going to be good. Sending in a little scouting party, which gets obliterated, and that is not what he needs. He's going to try to split up the Marines as much as he can. He's going to try to run into the third, though. No, he's going to go straight for the engagement. The tanks are shelling, and they're doing tons of damage. He's brought a lot of SCVs with him to try to soften up the damage. We'll be able to take out a few of the tanks now. It looks like he may actually be able to clean up all the tanks, but the question is how many units are going to be left, and will it be enough? He will clean up all the tanks, but there are not enough units to deal with this, and Wilp GG's nfteamSync is the champion of the 20th of January 2011 European Zeke Daily. I have been Penguin, and thank you for tuning in, and congratulations to nfteamSync.